Deputy President William Ruto says he will continue to attend trial at the ICC until the UN Security Council responds to the deferral request by the African Union.
Addressing a news conference at The Hague, the Deputy President says he and President Kenyatta would prefer a legitimate process to clear their names.
KTN's Edith Kimani reports Ruto has asked the ICC to strike a balance between the trial and their obligations as Kenya's top leaderships.
For 4 weeks, Deputy President William Ruto has remained silent on his ongoing case at the International Criminal Court, even as the region called for a special sitting to steer his fate. But this afternoon, the Deputy President had something to say.
It is our preference to follow the route that has already been agreed to by the court, that there should be excusal of continuous attendance so that we can balance the scales of our requirement to comply and to work in the interest of justice and accountability.
But while attending some sessions would be ideal for the Deputy President, the reality is the appeals chamber could rule either way on the matter. Should the court rule unfavorably, deferring the case by a year is another card Kenya could play to end the current dilemma.
There are legitimate reasons for the deferral of this case to give Kenya the best possible chance to handle the serious challenges that exist in our region, in our country, on a matter that is of global concern of terrorism in our region.
An opinion that the West is seemingly warming up to. However, as government continues to weigh the available options, there is the less spoken of preference to end the case altogether.
This case, as it runs, should be terminated because we believe in it. The prosecution has failed miserably in its responsibility.
But even as these debates continue, Trial Chamber 5A has remained blind to external issues as the court continued to hear testimony from the third prosecution witness, who has said that tribal zoning was evident as early as 2006. Edith Kimani, KTN Prime.
Meanwhile, the African Union is pushing its resolution to insulate Kenya's top leadership from prosecution at the ICC, but in its motion lies many grey areas. What is the fate of Deputy President William Ruto's co-accused Joshua Arap Sang, given that their case is consolidated? KTN's Sam Ogina reports.
It was no surprise that the African Union confirmed wide speculations to resolve that President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy William Ruto should not stand trial at the ICC.
Are we going to ignore the decision? How can we? How can we? We are part and parcel of the AU and have been since 1963.
But the AU deferral offensive of President Uhuru Kenyatta's trial for a period of 1 year has been described as tactful.
The art of governance, or the art of African politics, is double speak. So the president tells you he will cooperate, but quietly his shuttle diplomacy tells others he does not want to cooperate. So what AU was saying is exactly what the president has been saying quietly in diplomacy.
The heads of state in sanctioning Uhuru's keeping of trials argued incumbents should be shielded from active prosecution and their cases shelved until the end of their terms.
When Kenyans were told by Uhuru that ICC was personal, they chose to elect him. Therefore, they must collectively bear the burden of ICC. So you cannot say that ICC is not the Kenyans' burden. Unfortunately, that's how democracy works. He's your president, he's our president, and therefore, his problems are our problems.
But the 1 year deferral AU is seeking in President Uhuru Kenyatta's case does not cover the president's 5-year tenure. Begging the question, is Kenya playing poker on the ICC deferral bid?
They are in charge of the apparatus of the state. They will make the decision whether to cooperate or not to cooperate. They will also they are the ones holding the passes on Witness Protection Fund. They can influence one way or the other. So deferral of 1 day or 2 days, even 1 year, can strategically and tactfully be useful to their cause.
Well, it is checkmate for the ICC as the AU engages the court in a game of political and legal chess. The quest to equally halt the deputy president's case leaves his co-accused, Joshua Arap Sang's case, in a limbo.
The African Union, in a summit, cannot discuss a case that's before the court that does not touch on a sitting president or a senior state official.
But that statement puts the dynamics on deferral of Ruto's case into sharp perspective. How can a consolidated case of co-accused be collapsed?
Basically, they should be saying the cases in The Hague, as far as they are concerned, they are Kenyan cases and they should be treated the same way. However, the animal farm, George Orwell will tell you that not all animals are equal. And this is a case where African leaders are telling you that, yes, we have animals and some animals are more equal than others. And that's the tragedy here.
So if you are going to set free or defer Ruto's case, what will happen to Joshua Arap Sang? Is he going to wait until the 20 years so that he can come home? No. If it is deferral, it should be uniform.
The fate of the deferral offensive now lies squarely with the United Nations Security Council, where the AU will present its case. Samugina, KTN.